Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream on the channel. Lads, I don't know if you noticed, but my buzz is back. Two things before we quickly get into my own team. Again, gatekeeping my actual team. But I've fixed the overlay for you guys, so you can see chat now a bit better. So do say hello, let's see you in chat if you're in here. Do let me know who's in chat, who we got in here, and do let me know how the audio is, lads, as usual. Trying to make these streams a better experience for all of you. As you would know, I've been a small bit more consistent on YouTube. I know it's weird having me consistent. Let me quickly open up chat on the big screen to see who we got in here. Again, don't be shy. I hope we're all well on this Saturday morning. We got Anish, we got Rogers, we got John, we got God Albino, we got Mikkel. He says good morning. I hope we're well, lads. Do you get your coffee into you? It's not even 9 a.m. and we're here early. That's how buzzing I am to do the stream. But we got a good stream today for sure. Hello FPL villain. I see you shouting me out in chasing green arrows. I did see you say you couldn't watch all of us on all your devices, so good to see you, FPL villain. I hope you're alright. Audio is fine, only fine. If I can do better, let me know. Bronzer or Brazoner says, "Sup man, how are we?" Alright. So lads, I'm not gonna try bore you, but just to let you know, good morning, Jamie. We have a few decisions to make today. It's not gonna be as easy as I thought it was for anyone who watched the videos. But quickly, just a little recap. We're almost in the top 100K. Amazing. Bruno captain last week in a week where I thought Salah was gonna put me in a grave. I mean, what a feeling. I always said that I fancied United versus Chelsea. Not to be a I told you so. We brought in Matty Cash, lads. And he got a goal. Nico Williams, of course, with the jammy goal. Erling Haaland with a great goal versus City, or versus Arsenal. 71k game week rank and 70 points, bringing us into the top 100k, just give or take. Let's take a look at this game week's team. So, again, I assume anyone who is in here has watched the team selections, but maybe it's rude to assume. So, here is my team for game week 6. As you can see, the triple captain is indeed back active, lads. For me, easy decision as soon as we got more information. I did talk about it in my team selection that if we got training photos of the big man Erling Haaland, that it would be no issue to bring the button back onto him. Let me quickly pop out chat again so I can see you guys and interact with you. 2 seconds, lads. I bring you down here. Baden says, I went Murillo, Rogers for Guardiola and Foden, loved that. Daniel says, crazy score, absolutely. AJ says, hi, what are your thoughts on Mbeumo Wildcard? Where to start, lads? Okay, first off, for anyone who's listening, let me run through my team. Robert Sanchez on goal, 3 to back in Matty Cash, Pedro Porro, Nico Williams, 5 in midfield, Cody Gakpo, Rogers, Kudus, Bruno Fernandes, Brian Mbeumo, 2 up top in Erling Haaland and Watkins. First off, dilemmas with my own team. Before I get into any of your questions, again, we'll have plenty of time over the stream to answer as many questions as possible. And don't hesitate to put in your question more than once. As you know, it's going to be quite busy, and I'll try to get back to as many as possible. And do me a favour, while you're in here early, do hit that like button. It gets us onto the algorithm. And get your questions in, lads. I want to answer as many as possible. So where am I with my own team? Robert Sanchez mightn't play, first off. Cash, Porro, Nico Williams all played 90 minutes midweek. Morgan Rogers, absolute stinker midweek. Ollie Watkins missed a penalty. Do I think I'll still get 11 out of 11 starts? I think I could be looking at 9/11, but I think the likelihood is 10 out of 11. That being Morgan Rogers. I genuinely think the person who is likely to get the least minutes in my team is Morgan Rogers. Tell me all you want about how much Emery loves Morgan Rogers, but he has been caca-poo-poo. He's been Terrible. I've been watching Villa, unfortunately, and oh my god. He looks like a championship player again. And I'm not one to criticise players, but when you come with a big ego and talking about moves in the summer and all this, you better back it up. So I'm right to slate him, and I think Villa fans would agree. So therefore, guess who I'm looking to transfer out this game week? On stream, I talked about other assets. Or not on stream. In my team selections, I talked about other assets. But now, I feel like I've changed where I'm at with my own team. What's up, Troy? Adam Sousa in chat. Daniel says, look scared to take a penalty. Absolutely. Goodmanson for the assist. Fair assessment, says Kieran. I agree. Do you know, I also think Pedro Porro is a likely benching candidate this week. But at home to Wolves, he's an absolute machine. I can't bench him. Matty Cash, Villa don't have another right back who Emery would trust. Nico Williams, he played right back for Forest, so he can play both left back and right back. Zinchenko playing the inverted CDM role, getting really forward, which is interesting. One to monitor, might I add. I don't see either of those losing their place, just by virtue of them having no one else. Morgan Rogers, on the other hand, Harvey Elliott got 0 minutes midweek. Now, you can look at that two ways. You can look at that in the sense of, oh, Emery doesn't fancy Harvey Elliott. And he did critique him for that game versus Sunderland. Or you can go, okay, he's holding on to him for the Premier League game and he's going to drop Rodgers. For me, I'm not going to take that risk. Burnley at home looks great next week, don't get me wrong. But Villa are bottom of the pile in terms of all metrics, to be honest, in goal scoring. So, to be honest, I'm happy to bring him out. For who is the question, lads? That is the big question. So let's get straight into that. Again, apologies. I know you guys are very active in chat and I do appreciate it. Just hold off on the questions for just a second. I don't want you guys to put in the questions and me not get back to them. So I want to back up a few things with my own team though. As much as my team could look bad this game week, I do think this is why I'm not happy to Wildcard. And let me quickly bring up, as usual, our Rob T graphic before we get into my transfers. So, in front of you, as always, as you know, we are going to look at the Rob T graphic. If you aren't already following Rob T, do hit him a follow on Twitter. And also Solio Analytics, who is now partnering with Rob T, which is brilliant. So, in front of you, again, I've just shown you my own team. So when I'm looking at this graphic, who am I looking at? Of course, the big man Erling Haaland, 2.65 expected goals for City. 49% of a clean sheet. Highest of the game week. Next, double Spurs with 1.85 versus Wolves. 41% a clean sheet. Nico Williams, interestingly enough, 40% chance of a clean sheet. Double Manchester United, 1.7 lads. Higher than I think a lot of people expect. Again, I think Brentford are a decent side and it's going to be a tough game for United. But when you compare that to Chelsea, who are home to Brighton at 1.77, and Liverpool, who are 1.74, I'm licking my lips with Brian and Mbeumo going against his old team and Bruno Fernandes. I'll be honest, lads. Villa going at home to Fulham. Why can I not see Villa's crest? Yeah, Villa at home to Fulham. 1.34. Now the markets do react slowly to form. I mean, Villa. I feel like Villa probably should be a small bit higher. Again, they've been absolutely cat. But I do think there's a bit more for being at home, and I don't think. I mean, at this point, Villa are probably going to get relegated if you expect this to continue, and I don't think it will. But I do understand that. 1.34, very poor. 32% chance of a clean sheet, which I think is interesting. Anyway, my point is, my team looks good on paper this week, providing the minutes are there. How confident am I in the minutes? Absolutely not at all. So therefore, let's move on to my transfers. So looking at my transfers for this week, lads, in my videos, spoke about how I wanted to bring in Josko Guardiola. I thought that was the most likely transfer. Reason being, like I spoke about extensively, the minutes. You could see any of these three be benched, realistically. And of course, if I bring in any other position, I won't get the automatic sub in. Not to say that Porro, Nico Williams, or Cash, even if they do get benched, won't get brought on. But you know what I mean. So that's why I was so adamant on bringing in Guardiola. But since, after watching that Villa game, sorry, I keep going to the wrong section, my thought process has changed. So, we've had 2 price drops, which is unfortunate. Nico Williams down to 4.9. Robert Sanchez down to 4.9. I'm hoping I can make up the points in the meantime. So the move in my video was to do Josko Guardiola. Because I have 2.5 million in the bank and 1 free transfer for Esteve and bench Rodgers. I think that's a great move, and it sets me up well for Brentford next week. But I'm greedy. It seems to be who I am when I play FPL. If you're telling me Morgan Rodgers is not going to start this game week, and there's also a slight chance he doesn't start versus Burnley, well then, we're going to bring in a familiar face for anyone who's been in my streams before, in Phil Foden. Now, I think that looks deadly. First off, good to know. Let me quickly bring up FPL team. As you know, I am trying to set myself up for a wildcard 8. And I think that's really good context when you're looking at my team, lads. And sorry, I know my timer's wrong. I'll get that fixed. I know there's a lot of you waiting for questions. Please, I promise you, we'll make plenty of time for questions. Let me quickly fix this timer, though. We have... Perfect. So here's my current game week. And the reason I wanted to bring in Esteve for Guardiola so bad was because how it looks and like what I can do in game week 7. So this game week I would bench Rodgers. Again, captain Erling Haaland, and the triple captaincy is on. By the way, projected 72.6 points, I believe, or 72.8 if I brought in Josko Guardiola. But look how good the team looks in game week 7 if I done that move. And I would be looking to get rid of Gakpo. But instead, alternatively, what I'm going to do, let me reset this game week. Or undo that move. Balls, 1 second. Instead of bringing in Josko Guardiola, what I would like to do is, again, I just showed you, but bring in Foden. But what that lets me do next week, alternatively, is play Nico Williams, which I don't love, might I add. I don't love playing Nico Williams versus Newcastle away. But again, it's the greed, lads. It's the greed. Brentford away for Phil Foden, and it lets me 8.8 in the bank, lads. I can go Mateus Cunha, triple up with Sunderland at home. There's no one doing that, first off. I can go Erebeshi Eze, who I think is a phenomenal transfer in this game week. Still leaves me with 1.3 in the bank. -4 for Gabriel. Mind you, no wildcard, lads. I mean, that looks phenomenal. Again, just to go back on the Josko Guardiola transfer. Again, I know I keep going back to this, but here's the reason why I do like this transfer so much. So again, it's keeping me flexible for this game week with Esteve going up to Guardiola and benching Rodgers. But what it leaves me do in game week 7, let me reset this game week as well. It leaves me bench Nico Williams and bring Cody Gakpo. Wait. Oh, I'm doing that wrong. Anyway, whatever way I was doing it, there's a route to Bukayo Saka in game week 2. And I think that is also an interesting move. But anyway, to get back to the team. I want to bring in Phil Foden this game week. I feel like a lot of people are not going there on Wildcard because, I mean, it is scary. It is scary. Hello, Kieran. Hello, Paul. Good to see you. Sahil. Cactus Jack. It is scary because a lot of people are going to January rounders. And on Wildcard, I do understand that. But that's a perfect entry point for me to bring in Phil Foden. People are more than happy to play safe with the January rounders. Yeah, I'm perfect. I'm on Wildcard 8. Why not pick up on Burnley at home for a player who's in form? And we know, lads, when Phil Foden is in form, providing the minutes are there. I mean, we've seen it with Brentford in game week 25 last season. Hat-trick when we all captained Haaland. He was, 23 player of the year. When he's back, lads, he can be scary. Playing behind the striker as well, but no Marmouche. And I couldn't care less what happens from game week 8 onwards. Why not pick up on the points? So that's where I'm currently on with my transfer, lads. Oh yeah, so the other move I was looking at, that's what it was. I was wondering why that wasn't working for me. Rather than doing Josko Guardiola in this game week, let me reset the game week again. Again, apologies guys, I know it's a lot of back and forth. I want to get onto your questions in just a second. But it was moving Morgan Rogers to the main man who we were just talking about, Tijani Reinders. Burnley at home. In game week 7, then doing Bukayo Saka up from Cody Gakpo. That's the midfield. Lads, that is ridiculous, like. Anyway, enough of my own team. Let me start answering some questions.
Would you sell -4 Gakpo for Reinders? It also frees funds from Yankovic to Gabriel next GW.
So, thank you to Dimitri for the €5 super chat. First question of the day. Let's get answering some of your questions, lads. Would you sell for -4 Cody Gakpo for Tijani Reinders? It also frees up funds from Milenkovic to Gabriel next game week. Okay. No, I wouldn't. Would I? It's a tough question. I think Cody Gakpo. This is where I am with Cody Gakpo. I think this game week he's great. No Ekatike. I think people forget he can also play the 9. So Isaac is probably going to start number 9. This is how I'm trying to picture it. Cody Gakpo on the left. Again, he didn't play midweek. Isaac up top. Salah on the right. Okay, hook Isaac off at 65 minutes. Cody Gakpo can go in the 9. Florian Wirtz can go on the left. If we get any minutes of Gakpo in the 9, I love it. Tijani Reinders in though does free up some funds and he is amazing this game week, don't get me wrong. My question for you, Dimitri, and thank you for the super chat, I do appreciate it, is who do you have this game week if you're not starting Milenkovic? Again, it was just cramp midweek, I believe. I'm unsure if he's projected to play. But who do you have playing this game week? First question. Well, because that is, important. If you have someone who's playing this week, I wouldn't do the move. But if you have someone who's a doubt or not ideal, or assuming you're starting Milenkovic. But yeah, I'm quite high on Gakpo this game week. Again, just getting a piece of that Liverpool attack who are projected to still do decent this game week, even though Palace is by no means an easy fixture. 1.74 goals expected. Paul says, would you start Minoz or Anderson in defence? I would start Minoz. Again, chasing the upside. And a question from Adam Sousa, who is a channel member, says, how nailed is Xavi Simons? As I would be surprised if Xavi Simons doesn't start this game week. I would be overly surprised. To be honest, I think this is going to be his week where he gets his first 80 minutes plus. I think it'd be massive for what Spurs do going forward. Yeah, Gakpo is definitely a hold. I wouldn't sell. Good morning, that's tough, my guy. Dimitri says, Muniz, I mean Manoz. Yeah, okay. I That's a hard question, Dimitri. That's such a 50-50. It's almost hard not to bring in Tijani Reinders, but it's 4 - 4, and therefore I don't think it's justified. Do you know, it's a 6 point gap, taking a -4, maybe 4 point gap, whatever way you look at it. Have you wildcarded? I think that's also a big factor. If you're on wildcard 8, then I'll be less inclined to do it. I'm actually just gonna say yes because I've Gakpo, and I feel like I'm just telling you no because I own Gakpo and being a small bit biased. And I've just thought about it a small bit more. I would do the move. I think on paper, a -4 to get rid of Gakpo for someone who's gonna enable a player you're gonna want long term and who you won't want long term in Milenkovic. It probably is justified. Final answer, Dimitri. Yes, I would do it. You're on triple captain, then yeah, I would definitely do it. All right. Daniel says, wildcard activated, big rank gaps. For safety, would you go Victor Gyökeres? I'm tempted to go Isaac early. Yeah, for what it's worth, I think Gyökeres is almost hard not to go to. One that I would be happy dodging is João Pedro. Again, a few people a bit worried on a João Pedro minutes. By the way, we will be scrolling as much as possible on the timeline. Just to let you know. Would you not do Gakpo to Foden? Spacine, why would I do that? Why would I do Gakpo to Foden when I can do Rodgers to Foden? I have 2.5 million in the bank. I think Gakpo's definitely good this game week. Have you made your transfers? No, I've not. George, my man, long time no see, my boy. By the way, do hit that like button. We're closing in on 10k, lads. The videos are coming in thick and fast. I hope you're enjoying the content. Do let me know in chat if you are watching the team selections, the transfer plans, and any video ideas or what I can do better. Do let me know. I'm always up for the criticism, lads. I understand my content isn't perfect. One thing actually that I am well aware of is I'm gonna start implementing. There's one side of my game that I think is lacking. People who watch my videos and streams, you come to me because I probably do things a bit different. I might be quoted as a maverick because I don't do what regular people do. People probably assume that I'm not quite data driven, or I don't view the analytics world. Again, I think it's interesting because it couldn't be further from the truth. Just because I don't make my picks based on the analytics doesn't mean I don't look at the analytics and the stats and the data. So on my videos, just so people are a bit more entwined with my content and don't think I'm picking my picks blindly, I do look at data, lads. I do look at the data. That's the first thing, and I am going to implement it in the videos. Therefore, it's an easier watch for everyone. Could you change the font color? Let me. Why is that font overlapping? Yeah, I probably should put it on a black background with white text. But yeah, that's one thing I want to do. I'm going to implement data into my YouTube videos. Because I feel like that's the one thing that people will criticize before. You're picking your picks blindly, you got lucky. Lads, I done my final year project on making a model using data. Like, I understand the analytics world. Again, there's better people than me for sure. But to say I don't look at it is interesting. Cho, your content is great. Cheers, Ricky. Appreciate it. By the way, who likes the cup? Fox in the box. Jamie says, would you sell Elliot Anderson to Phil Foden? Yes, I would. Yeah, sure, Anderson is probably guaranteed DEFCON, but I don't know, man. Foden looks tasty out. How do you feel with Timber if I can't afford Gabriel? If you own Timber, I think it's fine. Calafiori would probably be my pick. Start Truffert or Gabriel? Oh man, Truffert looks amazing this game week. I would go Truffert. Again, the outcome mightn't be what you want, but the thought process is there. I feel like he's been amazing this season. I need to sell one of Chris Wood or Mateta for Haaland. By the way, I'm on Wildcard 8. I would easily sell Chris Wood. Sanchez sell by who? That's a tough question. I feel like Gianluigi Donnarumma is probably the pick. She says, "Hey Chai, good luck with your chip. What do I do, or who do I start out with these three? Miguel Damsgaard, Lacroix, or Morgan Rogers?" Probably Lacroix. That's tough, my guy says, "Chai, Kudus or Enjoy for a -4. I'm on triple captain." Long term, Iliman Enjoy. Short term, Mohamed Kudus if you're on wildcard. Yeah, Arsenal on set pieces haven't looked as strong as before. Yeah, you have to understand like, Arsenal's goal threat is largely from set pieces. I imagine a lot of the preparation from the Premier League teams are set pieces when they face Arsenal. And, you know, I watched, I think it was a Tifo video on, maybe it was an Athletic video on City, or on Pep. And it was that, you know, everyone's after learning from Pep. And by the way, this will make sense in a second. But everyone has learned how Pep plays. You have lots of people who have learned from Pep, like, of course, Company, Maresca, even Arteta. And they're all lumen. And a lot of managers idolise Pep, like Frank. I'm sure anyone in the league actually idolises Pep. But they would have learned the way Pep is playing. Therefore, Pep had to adapt when he played against Arteta. That's why he parked the bus and he put his hands up. He said, yeah, we parked the bus. We had to change something. So, it's the same with Arteta. Arteta, I can't remember his name, but his set piece manager or coach, sorry, would now have implemented his set pieces in a way where they look dangerous in every single set piece, and they have giants in the box, all 6 foot and above. But of course, the Premier League managers have to adapt to this. And it's been 2 seasons now where Arsenal has been phenomenal on set pieces. So I think we might start seeing a change. Again, they might be unstoppable in a sense where their defenders are so good in the air that no matter what you do and how you set up against it, it's going to be tough. And they'll always accumulate some decent XG from these chances. But I do think, you know, when you face Arsenal, it's probably the first thing that you look at. So that's just something to note, which I think is interesting. The adaptation, because someone did note on how Arsenal don't look so good on set pieces. I don't think it's that. I think the more so the adaptation process from the league. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because I see, you know, Gabriel is still an amazing asset and he's still going to have some load of goal threat every single week. Derek says, 3 Villa. Not for long, my friend. I don't think. Not for long. Cactus Jack says, my man Choi, who's a good replacement for Murillo? I'm on Wildcard 8. Josco Guardiola in a heartbeat. Nicholas Jover says, Basine is the name of your man. Yes, Chewy, if you missed the start of the stream, I'm looking to get rid of one of the Villa boys. Of 2.5 million in the bank. That's another thing I don't think a lot of managers who are not on Wildcard have the luxury of. I've set up in a way where I've given myself a lot of money in the bank. By the way, who was here last game week when we brought in Matty Cash? Let me know, lads, because show your face. What a transfer. It's funny. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, the absolute look. And you know what I say to that? You're right. The absolute jam for me to bring in Matty Cash the week he scores. But yeah, amazing transfer. I mean, going in with Burnley at home. I'm hoping he starts to Fulham at home. Yeah, but Phil Foden is on my mind. Ivor was here. Of course you were, Ivor. Spacine is crying. Yeah, like, it's so funny because, like, alright, it is luck, but I brought him in the week it happened. So, that's kind of crazy. Chewy says, Richie, a good punt this week, you reckon? Absolutely, Chewy. I love Richie this game week. And by the way, just to note, the black jumper is back. I don't know if anyone has noticed this. By the way, we're already a half an hour into the stream. Do hit that like button. And if you aren't already subscribed, lads, I'm telling you now, we're going to hit 10k subscribers sooner rather than later. I'm pushing for it, lads. I know if I can be consistent for you guys and make the content better every single video in the stream, we can get there. And I appreciate all you kind souls for supporting us. Again, there are a lot of you who would have been here in the early days of FPL Shy. It doesn't go unnoticed, lads. And the more and more we grow, the more and more I appreciate the support, of course. Liam is in chat. He says, those Matty Cash and Nika Williams goals thought of you straight away. Appreciate it, Liam. Good to hear someone's thinking about me. Black jumper is aura. You think so? What it is for me is, I feel like the black jumper is something that's been a part of our journey. Cash way overly jammy. I agree. Salah, Mateta, Rogers, Ilanga, to Foden, Reinders, Haaland, Caicedo. Sushant, how many transfers do you have? What in the... Salah, Mateta, Rogers, Ilanga. Yes. Easy. Yes. Without a doubt. What we have here... Hoi Chai. He says... Daniel says, tell me if I'm being stupid. Genuinely, 90-10 confirmed. Going to do Isaac plus Anderson over Gyökeres and VVD. I wouldn't say it's stupid. I'd say it's bold. How much do you rate 60 minutes of Isaac is what I'd ask you. FPL Choi winning FPL this season? I don't know about that. But I do think we're on for a decent season with a decent start. By the way, top of the FPL Content Creators League. Let's quickly bring that up. FPL Game Week. The highest ranked content creator currently, which, you know, I don't think it's going to last forever, don't get me wrong. But it's cool. You know, it is cool. I love shit like this. I mean, if you can't enjoy the game weeks leading up to it, I mean, why are we playing? I always say it. People are like, oh, you're celebrating your game week rank. We're only 5 game weeks in. But like, lads, if I was only here for game week 38, why would I bother doing a stream until game week 38 and showing you my rank? Do you know? And by the way, featured in a Sidemen video, KSI was flexing his score, but it didn't take long for an FPL content creator to leapfrog him. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. I love that. And with triple captain activated this week, lads, I think we can break into the top 50k. One thing I would know, and I think it is interesting. Yeah, thank you, Liam, for atting me in that. At my effective ownership last week against Arsenal, Haaland was 80% EO, which is quite scary. So that means everyone around my rank has Haaland. So therefore, everyone around my rank is probably going to triple captain Haaland. I don't think I'll gain much with the triple captaincy this game week for my own rank. And I'm also thinking, that means the people who also have Erling Haaland are probably not wildcarding because they own him. Which I think is interesting. Because, therefore, around my rank is probably not going to be much change for me. But yeah, I just think that's an interesting thing to know. What's the latest on Haaland injury? He was pictured in training. Pep said he's fine. No issues with me. Chris says, my man Shy on wildcard. I'm going to drop Bruno for Mbuemo. I wouldn't do that. Include Xavi and Foden. Aggressive approach at 7 million rank. Now, it's just a note. Whatever rank you're at, I wouldn't go chasing, lads. It's still early days. Make the right move. Be patient. I feel like it will come for you. Again, I feel like it's never the outcome that I would go for in FPL. For example, if I was sitting at 3 million rank right now. Welcome, Chris, to a cup of chai. By the way, for anyone that isn't aware, Chris, do send me on your number and I'll get you added to the WhatsApp group. Again, lads, There is no conspiracy theory with my WhatsApp group. It's just a small little community if you want to support the channel. So do become a member, and I'm more likely to answer your questions if I do see the membership logo beside your name. But welcome, Chris, and if you aren't on Twitter, send me on your number somehow. Appreciate you, Chris.
Cheers for the cash tip last week. Clapping hands emoji. For this week, is the TC really effective to push rank given high EO? I have triple city attack already.
Samara, good question. Chris, again, do send me on your number. I'll get you added to the group chat. And for anyone who wants to become a member or wants to support the channel, please, please, please do join the Chai Cartel. Chris is calling me out. No cartel here, lads. Again, I don't want your money. It's just a good way and fun way for you to support the channel and get involved in the community. But Samar, yeah, no, that's a good question, and I do think it is, it's a fair point. And no problem. Do let me know anyone who did go Matty Cash. Again, when I make my moves, lads, I don't suggest them to you. I show you what I'm feeling, and I don't expect anyone to go there. But fair play if you have the courage to also go there. For this week, is a triple captain really effective to push rank? The answer is yes, and the short answer is because all content creators are wildcarding this week. By the way, I do think wildcard this week is good. But the reason I think it's good is, imagine the amount of managers who are wildcarding. You have Oscar, FPL Focal, I believe is on wildcard. You have FPL Harry, also on wildcard. Raptor, who's on wildcard. They're three of the biggest managers on wildcard. They all hold over 200k views on a deadline stream right now. Let's just assume 200k minimum views. That's 600k managers who are watching. Let's say half of those people follow their advice or opinions on a week basis, and assuming if they're watching those type of managers, they have the same similar players in place. So we are, this game week, coming up against over 500, 600k wildcards. Easily. Of those alone, imagine the people who are on wildcard without Haaland in their team already. How do you get a leg up on those managers? Again, assuming you already have Haaland, that means you're at a decent rank. And a good way to get a leg up on them, because they won't be able to triple captain, is to triple captain. Again, a lot of people won't be advertising triple captain because they can't. If managers could press the button this week, and I think a good example is Let's Talk FPL. He's one of the biggest content creators. He is not on wildcard, so therefore, what is he going to do? Triple captain. Prass is probably on triple captain because he's holding his wildcard later down the line. Anyone who is not on it and has Haaland in place is using it. And it would be talked about a small bit more. Jamie says, you're the best FPL content creator. Thank you, Jamie. I don't think I am at all. The type of manager I am is I actually listen to other people who I think are better than me, and I take all the collective's ideas and I form my own idea off it. So they're definitely better than me, but I do appreciate it. KS says hello. Hello, KS. Murillo to Guardiola or Gabriel if I'm not set on wildcard this week. Murillo to Guardiola or Gabriel. I'd go Guardiola for sure. Sorry, lads. I'm really taking a second to think about it. Vasa says, bonjour, bonjour. I'm on the way back from work, but can see the triple captain active. By the way, I'm trying to get back to your questions, lads. Again, a lot of questions in chat. Do get them in. Fire them away. But yeah, the triple captain is active. Again, in my team selection video, if you did watch it, you would have seen me talk about how, why risk it? But again, now if, he's in training, I don't think there is a risk. Yeah, I'm slightly worried about a Paro benching. But I think it's one of them where so many own Paro, you just don't worry about it. Crisis, I keep calling him Chris. Please allow me to add in Xavi instead of the boring Everton mid on Wildcard. I love Xavi Simons this week, lads. He's an alternative I could go to if I don't want to do Morgan Rodgers to Xavi Simons.
My man Chai, loving your content. You make a valid point. Any chance you can help with a GW6 wildcard, praying gesture emoji, red heart emoji.
Thank you, Sleepy, for the 100 ZAR. Lads, I really appreciate you sending me money, but I would recommend you become a member because I'd love to add as many as possible into the group chat. Again, nothing secret in the group chat. It's just a nice tight community for those who support the channel. But again, I really do appreciate the super chat, Sleepy. Loving the content, very kind words. Any chance you could help with a game week 6 wildcard? If you haven't already watched my wildcard video, do check it out, Sleepy. Again, I'm not telling you that because I want you to view the video. It's just easier for me to tell you to look at the video rather than going through a whole team. If I was on wildcard this week, lads, I would have Erling Haaland and Salah. Short term, it mightn't be as good as just Haaland. Long term, in game week 8, lads, it's going to get to a point where Mo Salah plays against United at home. In game week 14, Sunderland at home. Game week 13 is West Ham, I believe. We're going to want Mo Salah back in our teams sooner rather than later. Can he keep up this form? No chance, lads. I'm telling you, he's not going to continue like this. The fact he's returning while playing shite actually says a lot about Salah, because it's something he has always done. I've always seen Salah be quite poor and return, and this season it's been no different. When Salah becomes good, it's going to be scary again. And I feel like it's sooner rather than later, lads. Can't wait to see that cheesy smile when Cash scores a brace again. Lads, Cash was unlucky not to get a brace for Sunderland. I don't know if you've seen that chance in the 90th minute tap-in back post, but it was so close. We were almost at glory. What's your league code? If you go to one of my earlier videos, the league code is there. I believe it's Donfa, DONDFA. I think. Brokey says, good morning, Chai. I'm bottom of the Meat and Cheese Feast League. What is the Meat and Feast Cheese League? Am I missing something here? He says, I need your help, please. For maximum points this week only. Evan Nilsson or Richarlison, and why? Richarlison. He'll be on penalties for the minutes he's on. Great fixture for him. Confidence is up for Richarlison. Got a nice rest midweek. Good form. Richarlison is a purple patch player. Tottenham prediction today. 3-0. Johnny says, hi Chai. 2 Ireland emojis. Come on, you boys in green. Start Larson away to Spurs or Eze away to Newcastle, brother. I don't like either of them. For what it's worth, I probably would start Larson. You'd be more confident of a start. Kudus or Ndiaye? Long term, lads, Ndiaye. Short term, Kudus. Alex Price says he cannot find a button to become a member. Lads, if you are on desktop, it is a button here that says it's a plus icon or a dollar emoji. George, if you're in stream, do send in the link to become a member. Or Spacine, if you can send in a link, it'd be much appreciated. Again, lads, you don't have to. Again, nothing secret going on in the WhatsApp. It's just, for example, last night I would have sent in my team early and let people know what I'm at, and then I would have asked all the lads who are in the group chat what they are doing this game week. Nothing secret about it. It's just a way to support the channel, lads. But yeah, Spacine, if you can send a link, do let me know. If not, all good. And George, if you're in here, even better. Are you 100% on triple captain this game week? 10 million %. Unless we suddenly get a shock. Yeah, press the join button. There it is. Again, it's different if you're on mobile. Where was I at? Sorry, lads, before I got sidetracked. Everton fixture prediction. I think it's going to be a dull 1-1. I think for sure it's both teams to score. O'Reilly or Romero? Romero for next two. Anderson or Watkins? Watkins without a shadow of a doubt, lads. Always play the attacker. I don't care how poor they've been. Poro, Milenkovic, Senesi, bench one shy.
I'm going with your wild card draft for this GW, which has triple city attack. Should I go with it or should I buy João Pedro instead?
Aaron, lads, why are you super chatting? I'm telling you to become a member. Again, I really do appreciate it, lads. You're too kind. And George has put in the link to become a channel member if you are interested. But, Aaron, okay, there are a lot of you on Wildcard, so why don't I just bring it up real quick? Yes, Spacina is shouting at the top of his lungs, hit the join member. Sorry, I can't speak. Hit the join button to become a member. Let's quickly go into my videos and let's go into my wildcard draft. He says he's going with the team that is this one here. Let's pull this up again because you're after super chatting. I'm more inclined to do and bring up teams. He says, should I bring in João Pedro? First thing, I don't know if you guys have seen the João Pedro news. But there's been a tweet about Pedro, about his minutes or his fitness. Let me try to find it real quick. I'm never going to find this, am I? Who did I see earlier talking about it? The Swedish guy. What is that Swedish guy's name? Oh, apologies. Give me 1 second. Here it is. João Pedro only trained for the first time yesterday after his own fitness issues following Man United. Good news is the 24-year-old is expected to be fine for inclusion versus Brighton tomorrow. He then travels to, I think it's Japan in the international break before early kickoff in game week 8. Just to note. Therefore, I'll be more than happy not to go with Pedro. Again, that's just me. I think Pedro is phenomenal, don't get me wrong. And especially with Palmer being out, his pen share might go up a small bit. And also, you know, he is a talismanic figure. That's the one thing to know. Second thing to know on my wildcard draft. I do really like this team. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great, even long term with Strand Larsen. It also keeps it flexible with bench boosts in mind. But for me, lads, I can't look past Salah. I really cannot look past Salah. But I think for the next 2 or 3, this team is amazing. You have Mbeumo covering that Sunderland game, Gyökeres with West Ham, triple City, enjoy for the long run, double Arsenal with Gabriel and Raya. I think it is a great team. And again, if you fancy it over the Salah and Haaland team, why not? But yeah, all the lads saying where the member button is if you want to become a member. I do appreciate the super chat and thank you for the support, lads. I really can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I mean, it really does motivate me to continue to make content, and I will make the content regardless anyway, but it really pushes me to do better for you guys. So yeah, I hope that answered your question, Ariane. Alright, let's quickly do a poll because I'm actually intrigued. Where is the poll button? Oh, lads, I can't find the poll button. It's so annoying. There it is. poll we are going to do is, are you on Wildcard? I'm going to assume over 50% of you guys are on Wildcard. Is your Wildcard or TC active? And let's do neither. Alright lads, I'm going to quickly put up that poll. Do excuse me for a second. I am dying to go to the bathroom. I hope you understand. Please, please do not leave yet. I'll literally be 10 seconds. It sucks. I hate to leave you guys, but give me literally 5 seconds. I'm back. You'll have to excuse me. I didn't wash my hands, but I have to come back, lads. Anyway, let's see where this poll is at. I do apologize, lads. I hate doing that. I hate doing it. Anyway, that's the first time I've had to piss on stream. In all my time of streaming so far, it's the first time. Anyway, the poll is on 65% triple captain, 18% wildcard, 17% neither. Interesting. What is chat saying? I hope I'm excused, lads. I do apologise. Doku or Foden? Phil Foden for me. Foden is a clinical finisher, lads. Best FPL community going, IMO. I do appreciate it, lads. It means a lot. You know, to hear people or see people consistently be in here, it's amazing. First time for everything. Savid says, hi Chai, Tarkovsky, Ndiaye, Bruno, Stack, VVD, Foden, and Mbuemo, Caicedo. Looking to go against the template. Assuming wildcard, Ndiaye, Bruno, Stack. So the template or VVD, Foden, Mbuemo, Caicedo. I really like Foden, Mbuemo, Caicedo. I would say though, I'm unsure on Virgil van Dijk long term. You know, why not go for a Gabriel? Even though it's not a great entry week. Which one is better? I mean, the first one is hard to look past. The second one, though, can do equally as well. I'm going to go the second one, specifically because you said you're trying to go against the template. Game week 7, Mbuemo is a great captain. Phil Foden this game week, particularly amazing. Caicedo, of course, when that Sunderland home fixture. And he's one of those who will tick away nicely. Yo Chai, should I triple captain Foden? I wouldn't personally. And this has been on my mind a small bit because I'm likely to bring in Foden. I do think there is a slight chance that Phil Foden sees 75 minutes today. Again, he did play midweek and I think that is good to note. Sushan says 11 of his players played today. That is mad. Tiny Fungus, another channel member, he says, morning Shy, he says, should see my team mix stuff up and got Haaland and Salah. Love that, Tiny Fungus. Yeah, I was speaking to Tiny Fungus's brother, Big Fungus, and he is also going Salah and Haaland. Bench Cash or Cemento? Cemento? Livera Cemento? Livera Semenyo? Bench Cash. Should I bench boost Dubravka, Gehi, Gyökeres, Anderson? Yes. Vasa says, would not want to bring in any more City players this week in your team with that free transfer. Vasa, I don't know if you were here for the start of the stream. My transfer this game week is looking like Phil Foden in for Morgan Rogers. Again, I've been managing the team quite well in my opinion. Therefore, I have 2.5 million in the bank in preparation for this game week and next game week. Lads, we are currently 100k overall, right? Triple captain is active, first thing to note. team looks somewhat decent and not discombobulated in a week where a lot of people are wildcarding. Next week's team, lads. You're going to want to see next week's team selection. It is one of my best teams of all time. It's that good. Again, it's one transfer away from this current team. But the way the fixtures have lined up, and because of the opportunity to dead end, it looks amazing. Like, amazing. I'm so excited for next game week. And in game week 8, then I'll be activating the wildcard. So, a lot of content to come, lads. And I'm really excited. I'm hoping I can push into... or, do you know what? I would be content with a grey arrow this week. Reason being, I don't think my team is ideal. Sure, the triple captain is active, but so many are on wildcard this week that I think if I can get something out this week, I'll be quite happy. FPL Villain says, I have a 5 at the back of VVD, Murillo, Frimpong, Dorgu, Reynaldo. Do we replace Murillo for Senesi for a -4? Being Murillo, Frimpong, and Reynaldo probably don't play. Sorry for the spam. You're good. Again, apologies if I can't get back to all your questions. But to get back to your question, VDV, Murillo, Frimpong, Dorgu, Reynaldo. I will play Dorgu, Frimpong, and VVD. I think he should be fine without -4, Villain. Again, no Amad Diallo, and Dorgu was back, just to note. Luke says, it's so refreshing seeing a different team. Every other stream has the exact same team, bar 1 or 2 players. I love your approach, mate. Love from Australia.
Sounds like water and running in the background. Crying face emoji.
Oh, lads, I do apologise for the background noise. I have ASMR going in the background. Do you know what that is? For anyone that doesn't know, I'm from Ireland. And Ireland's weather is shocking. But let me close my window. 2 seconds. I hope that is a bit better. I do apologise for the background noise. Do let me know if I need to adjust my mic sensitivity. That is so gassed up. Let me just move my mic a small bit. I don't want you guys to hear that. And thank you for the £2 super chat. Cactus Jack. Man, you super chat every single stream. Why are you not a member? You do not need to support me in that way, man. But again, appreciate the super chat, Super Jack. Again, very kind words from yourself, Cactus Jack, and also for you saying you like how differential the team is. And if this is your first time joining me, this is how these streams have always been. It's been near 2.5 years now, lads. It's been 2.5 years, and not once have I went against my morals as a fantasy football manager. It's so funny, I'm talking about my morals, but at the end of the day, I'm just some FPL nerd who picks a team week to week. Nothing special goes on here, lads. It's just I have the courage to go against the crowd. And that's one thing that I think is underrated. I saw a tweet by, I think, Bullet FPL. And he spoke about one of the things of being a decent manager. Again, I don't think I'm the best manager. There's people who make better decisions on a week to week. But to go against the grain when everyone is doing so similar, lads. Again, I too think the optimal thing this week, if you don't have Haaland, is to wildcard. But there's just so many that are scared due to price rises. Other people hitting the wildcard button. You can do things your own way. And fortunately enough, thank God, the optimal way isn't always the outcome of what happens. And sure, the optimal way this week and next week might work out for you. But in the long run, is it the optimal play? I don't think so. But yeah, Henry says it's pissing down in Ireland. It absolutely is. Like, it is showering. Tony Fungus, actually, let me answer Crisis first. He says, pick Tuchel in Buemo Xavi, in Buemo Bruno. It's tough. I think it's really close. In Buemo Bruno, though. In Buemo Bruno, because Sunderland at home next week. And this week is great. In Buemo versus Old Club, there's a small bit about it. Tony Fungus says about Richarlison, slightly worried about his minutes with Colin Mwani. No, I don't think so. Mwani has the deadest leg I've ever seen, apparently. So you should be okay. And I think Solanke is still suffering with an ankle issue. Yeah, I'm currently the highest ranked influencer. Sharif says, "Hey bro, how you doing? I'm great." Davis West, 4 months a cup of chai. Appreciate you, Davis. Absolute legend. Shame uh, you're not a Spurs fan. He says Murillo for Guardiola this week is likely. Love that. Is Kuna if Kuna is benched? Would you be tempted for a -4 for Phil Foden? No chance, Davis. I would be holding Kuna for next game week. Do I expect Kuna to start this game week? I think it's likely. They need him back. Saying that, Mason Mount is also fit, which I don't love, but if you're asking me, I think it will be Kuna, Sesko, Imbuemo. I think it is likely. So, to answer your question, Murillo to Guardiola, yes, love that. -4 for Foden, no. And not because I don't think Foden can outperform Kuna even if he does start. But in the long run, when I say long run, in the 2 week span, Kuna with Brentford and Kuna with Sunderland at home versus Foden with Burnley, Foden with Brentford away, I think it's close. And not worth a -4. Hiding here to not to avoid the wildcarders. Yeah, it's interesting because everyone else I would assume would have been a more intriguing watch because they're on wildcard, but maybe a lot of people are getting a bit of joy because I'm not on wildcard and it's easy to hide away with me because I've got a different team. Do let me know in a week like this. I thought the views would have been down because everyone else is on wildcard and it would be a better watch. Oh, who are you bringing in? There's a bit more similarity going with someone and watching someone who is on wildcard. But do let me know, why are you watching my stream currently? What is it you like? The differential, I assume. A lot of people would say that. When are you planning to wildcard? Game week 8. If we quickly bring up the fixture ticker, lads. Why do I plan on wildcarding in game week 8? So in front of you, I have the fixture ticker. And it'll bring a lot of context to why I want a wildcard in 8. By the way, we're just after hitting the 1 hour mark. 160 of you guys in here. Do hit the like button. Let's make the goal of this stream 150 likes for the stream. Again, really, really appreciate the support, lads. But why am I on wildcard 8? So, first thing, information. Bukayo Saka is returning from injury. Expect him to start, to be honest, versus Newcastle. Palmer is out. Expected to be back for Forest. Again, we have 2 weeks international break for game week 8, lads. Players will be injured left, right and centre on international break. Without a doubt. It's a long one as well. 2 week. Game week 8, the fixtures turn for Chelsea, who I have only one asset for now. It leaves me get out of players like United, who I'm currently doubled up on. Again, the fixtures aren't bad, but they're not great going into Liverpool in 9. Or Liverpool in 8, sorry. I have no Liverpool assets. They are by far the best attacking team in the league and they're being overlooked on wildcarders because of Erling Haaland. I'm telling you now, I will want Salah come game week 8. And I think a lot of people will start to see the light in that. Options like Alexander Isak become an option in game week 8. He'll have 2 weeks to build up his fitness. And it will leave me jump on the Arsenal boys, who I also have no assets for, and get rid of Villa, who go into Tottenham, City, Liverpool, Bournemouth, which I think are horrific. And I don't need to wildcard in 6 and 7. It's given me the opportunity to triple up on United in 7. Triple up in Villa, or double up on Villa with Burnley at home. Doesn't sound great, but lads, I play the fixtures. I'm a fixtures first manager. And also double Spurs ahead of Leeds. So, that's why I'm wildcarding 8. At the same time, let's look at my team in game week 8. I don't need to do it. Sure, it doesn't look ideal. But if I wanted to set up my team for a non-wildcard, I would go Reinders and Saka. Sure, Mbeumo and Bruno, not ideal for the singular game week. What I don't like about the team is the Villa boys. If I didn't have Watkins and Cash in place, you better know I'd be rolling my wildcard till 12 or 13. But unfortunately I do. That's the reality of it. And hopefully in the short term then we can pick up points on wildcard 8. So that's where my head is currently. Let me quickly pull up my team for anyone who's due joining us. Again, great team for a non-wildcard team. Let's close the poll. 200 votes on triple captain this game week. Interesting that you guys are not wildcarding. It's interesting to see the triple captainers who are not on wildcard are all flocking to my stream. I think it's brilliant. Aaron says, is Salah Haaland draft better than the triple city attack? Arian, I can't give you a definitive yes or no. Because, it's just one of those things that this week, sure, Foden could go and get a brace and Reinders might return as well. And Haaland might get a brace also. But that's not to say down the line, Salah versus United at home won't get a brace. It's hard to calculate the cumulative points in a short term versus long term. If who would be better this week versus who's better long term. So the answer is there is no answer. But I do like both. Again, not to sit on the fence, but again, it's hard. It is hard. And yes, lads, the triple captain is going to be active going into this week. Let me quickly scroll on Twitter. Again, early kickoff today is Manchester United versus Brentford. And I'm looking to keep an eye on any potential team news. Because I do know a few managers own Matheus Cunha. And you'll be hoping for a start. A lot of managers are already locked in, which is mental. Alright, again, George, our moderator, will be keeping an eye on Twitter for us and letting us know if we're missing anything. Let's do another poll though. Let's quickly do another poll. By the way, lads, for anyone who's not found the membership button, if you pop out the chat, if you click the three dots in the chat section, you can click pop out chat and then there's a button there to support the channel. But yeah, let's start another poll. Rank my team. And include the triple captain. Again, my team is a non-wildcard team. So let's go... how do I do this? 5... let's do... Nah. How do I do this? 7 to 10. 5. And then less than 5. Is that less than 5? No, let's just do... Actually, no, that's silly. Maybe that's silly, lads. Maybe I won't do that poll. But yeah, let's keep answering your questions. Can I afford not to play wildcard and triple captain this week? If you don't play it this week, you still have it for later down the line. What I think people fail to realise is, okay, sure, Haaland could go bag a hat-trick. That's what all people triple captain are hoping for. Bruno plays Sunderland next game week. Just saying. If you own him, he plays Sunderland next week and he can get DEFCON and he's on penalties and free kicks and they can get a clean sheet. 1 goal, he's on 3 bonus points. Salah plays in game week 14, Sunderland at home. Haaland plays the bottom 2 in Sunderland at home and Leeds at home before the second half of the season starts. There'll be plenty of time to pick it up. My question for you is, if you have the opportunity to play the wildcard or triple captain now, why haven't you played it? Thank you, ZJ, who has become a cup of chai. Do, of course, DM me on Twitter with your number. I'll get you added to the WhatsApp group. Again, nothing secret going on in there. I really appreciate it, ZJ. Do let us know why you've become a member of a cup of chai. I do appreciate the support. I mean, it's great to see a lot of people trying to become part of a tight-knit community. Again, it's great. What I love about here, lads, is that I see familiar faces every single game week. There are people who've been in here for the last year consistently. When I've had a bad rank, when I've had a good rank, they're here, no matter what, supporting the channel. So, ZJ, Much love, man. And he's straight in using the emojis. Thank you, ZJ. I do appreciate it. And do send me your number on WhatsApp. Good morning, Red Devil. How are you? Foden or Richarlison this week? Foden. Are you not bringing in Guardiola anymore? With the doubts of Rodgers for me, man, I don't love it. And it will look a great move if Rodgers misses out. Why 3 Aston Villa, bro? I'm going to be getting rid of Rodgers. I actually don't mind Cash and Watkins. It looked phenomenal last week. We're just at 100 likes, lads. The goal is, of course, 150. Appreciate it. Would you like to bring in Senesi, Guardiola, or Frimpong? My choice would be Guardiola. Hello, Red Devil. Semenyo or Foden? Long term, Semenyo. Short term, Foden. Make of that as you will. By the way, also, if you aren't subscribed, we are almost at 8.6k. ZJ says, I asked for it last stream because I didn't show me the membership button. If you remember. Oh yeah, I do remember, ZJ. I do remember. FPL Top, my man. One who's been around for quite a while, actually. FPL Top has also become a cup of chai. Do send me your WhatsApp numbers, ladies and gentlemen who have joined the stream. Again, lads, I mean, the support is phenomenal. I hope you do like the consistency in my content so far. I'm looking to keep it up. And Toff, send me your WhatsApp number on Twitter. Or whatever social media you use. Twitter is probably the easiest way to reach me. But I follow you since your first stream of yours. Thank you, ZJ. I do remember you. And FPL Tough, do let us know why you've hit the button to become a channel member. And Reese Clay has also hit the subscribe button. Good stuff, lads. Sharif says, Xavi or Richa? Xavi has better minutes than Richarlison. Long term, Xavi will be better. Right now, Richa has penalties. And I don't think Richarlison will lose his place anytime soon. Don't get me wrong. I would go Richarlison if I could. The subscription button is the dollar emoji or the join button. For anyone who's just become a member, do let anyone know or everyone else know where the button is, because I have no clue. I can't become a member of my own channel. But Top says, it's been a long time coming. I've been following you for such a long time and you deserve to buy a coffee. I mean, very kind words, Top. It doesn't get better than that. Sometimes I don't know how to react, lads, when, you know, people are willing to support you in that way. Like, at the end of the day, I am this random Irish Asian fella sitting behind a camera, and you guys are willing to become members in my channel. I mean, and all I'm doing is just talking about my players and what I want to do and trying to answer and engage with you guys. I mean, it means a lot, lads. By the way, do you think Haaland will play the full 90? I think, you know what? Funnily enough, I think there's 0% chance he plays 90 minutes. But I think he can do the damage in 70. You know what? I think he can do the damage in 15 minutes. He's looking dangerous, lads. I wouldn't try sell you the triple captain on Haaland, because for me, I think the last few weeks have sold it to me. Bruno and Di Reinders, choose one. Choose one for what? A wildcard 8. Choose one for wildcard this week. Or if it's long term is Bruno. Short term is Reinders. Value is Reinders. What is your plan for game week 8, Chai? Wildcard. Foden or Bruno? Bruno. Have you played any ships? And when you wildcard, and says Iskander. I have played my free hit. Just to know, I gained 47 points from my free hit alone. That was the difference from my non-free hit team and my free hit team. Insane. Thank you, George, for spamming the links. And don't be shy to spam ×3, George. That's what I usually do. If I get information, I copy and paste it 3 times. But yeah, sound, George. Bench 2, Chai, of Edogi, Senesi, Tarkovsky, Gabriel, Calafiori. Bench 2. Man, that is tough. How do you have such a good bench? Edogi, I would want to play all of those, Chris. I keep calling you Chris. Crisis. Kuna versus Foden this game week. Easy, Phil Foden. ZJ, you can't put the button on Rounder, surely. Hey Choi says, Sean, he says, are you gonna make any transfer such as Villa players like Rodgers or Ndai? Okay, I assume a lot of you guys are just joining me. So let me go through my transfer this game week. Morgan Rodgers to Phil Foden. It's what I'm thinking right now. It's what I want to do. It's aggressive, and it's everything I am as a manager. So let me quickly put that in place to avoid any confusion for anyone that's just joining us. Again, 2.5 million in the bank, just to let you know. But yeah, I am planning to bring in Phil Foden. Not gonna lie, I might do Senesi over Guardiola this game week. I like Senesi. I do like Senesi. Again, lads, in a world where DEFCON exists, is it likely that Senesi keeps this record up? Whether or not he does or not at that value, that's why he's such a good option. Because even if he doesn't, I mean, he's doing it frequently enough to justify the price point. So I can understand Senesi for sure. Bro, Salah out for Fernandes and Mbeumo, or Fernandes and Kudus. Fernandes and Mbeumo. Bruno, Stack and Roden, or Mbeumo, Foden, Richards and Caicedo on Wildcard this game week. Bruno, Stack and Roden is quite thin. Foden, Richards, Caicedo probably sets you up better in the long run. Champions collide. Long time no see, my man. How are you? As you play FPL different to the norm, would you not be aggressive and triple captain Foden? This is a misconception, lads. I think people think that I try to do things different. And lads, I don't. And that's the thing. I don't try to be different for the sake of it. I genuinely just go with what I think is going to do well. And have the courage to not care what other people are doing. What I would say to that is, if we played FPL and you couldn't see other people's teams and we didn't stream it, guess what? It would be up to your own interpretation. Let's imagine I gave you all the stats, all the data, but you couldn't watch anyone. And the only other thing you could do is watch the match. That's what I do. There's not much to it. I'm not going Harry, Oscar, Ross, and Andy. Yeah, they're wildcarding this week. I think I want a wildcard, and I want to go. I don't want to go with the same team, so I'm not going to wildcard. Actually, it's never like that, lads. It's more of a case of, okay, I back my own opinion. I watch the games enough. I definitely watch enough games to have somewhat of a decent opinion on who I'm bringing in. I look at the data to somewhat back up my opinion. It doesn't have to be 0.2 more expected goals for Haaland than he is than Richarlison this week. Therefore, I'm going Haaland. Okay, that's a terrible example, but you know what I mean. I'm very much weighing it up in my own mind, my own interpretation for things. A good example is, I might look at stats and go, okay, Xavi Simons has better goal threat than Mohamed Kudus. But from watching the games, Kudus is picking up good areas around the pitch, and I'm actually surprised he's not scored. He picks up 90 minutes every week, and for me, he's going to play every minute of every part of the season, provided he doesn't get injured. And therefore, I might go with Kudus over Xavi, regardless of what the stats say. So yeah, I think that is a misconception about me trying to be different. I don't agree with that, because again, I don't try to be different. Again, if I tried to be different, it wouldn't be who I am. And who I am is going with my own decision. So I wouldn't say you don't try to be different, but you definitely just do your own thing. Exactly. And I'm not influenced by templates. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thoughts on Eze as a differential. He is one that is going under the radar. So like I said, this week, fortunately enough, I can bring in Phil Foden. I have enough money in the bank to go from Cody Gakpo up to an Eze next week. I say up, sideways to an Eze next week. who I fancy versus West Ham. Everyone is looking at Victor Gyökeres because they're scared of Eze minutes. But if you're asking me, did Arteta sign this Premier League baller, might I add? I think he's definitely one of the most exciting players in the league. For him to sit on the bench, no, he definitely not. You seen it versus City. He's the game changer. Do I expect him to start versus Newcastle? Yes. Do I expect him to start versus West Ham? Yes, actually. I think it is a case where he's going to be in the team sooner rather than later. I could be wrong. But for West Ham, I think he starts. Hey, Chai, I've got a benching headache, says you. He says, Gakpo, Watkins, Reinders. Tough one, man. For me, you got to bench Gakpo. It is tough, though. Anton, another person might add, who's been here for the long run. Rodgers to Semenyo -4. It's hard to justify, I'm not going to lie. Anton. Really, really hard to justify. I would rather -4 to Reinders. Modpog, hello, how are you? 235 people in here watching. Again, let's make the like goal 200 likes this stream. Let's up it. Again, I appreciate you guys coming and joining me. Guedovich choice, says Alex Doherty. Yeah, dope. Get out of here, Alex. Good, first time seeing you in here. I hope you're well, Alex. Good to see you in here. Clearly looking for some tips. Again, Alex, I have no tips for you, so get out of here. Mbeumo or Foden on wildcard? Easily Phil Foden. Munoz or Tarkovsky for a -4, Chai? Tarkovsky, especially if you're going long term. Rajiv. Hello, Rajiv. John says, thoughts on Wirtz and Gyökeres to Foden and Richie for free. For what it's worth, I wouldn't make the transfers. If it's on wildcard, I would do it. And I would just do Wirtz to Foden. I would keep Victor Gyökeres. Sean says, hey Chai, if you triple captain this week, when will your wildcard be? Game week 8, lads. I've been planning the game week 8 wildcard for a while. It's for sure coming. Dean Matru says, I've been following you since day one, Chai. Watching all your streams. I feel like our mindset's playing the game match. Should I hold on to Chris Wood this week? Personally, I would. Again, it's a quick turnaround for Forest. I know Wood is not fancied by Ange, but you'd probably still fancy a start. In my opinion, anyway. That is some dodgy looking backline. Oh man. Alex, I've been talking about it all stream. Or Matthew, I've been talking about it all stream. You're in here as well. Yeah, just to quickly show my own team. It is for sure a dodgy looking backline. I mean, Sanchez, Cash, Porro, Williams all played midweek. But fixtures are there, lads. I probably still expect them to start. And Mbeumo or Foden on wildcard. On wildcard, I would go... Lads, I love Mbeumo. Don't get me wrong. But on wildcard, it's hard to look past Reinders over Foden for the value. Reinders is a better option than Foden for the next period, due to the price point. He'll be one on my wildcard 8, but short term in the next 2, Phil Foden is the one. Liam says start Rodgers or Anderson. I would for sure start Rodgers. Would I? I don't expect Rodgers to start actually. I would just play Anderson, Liam. It's tough though, because if Rodgers gets to start, you're in trouble. I say in trouble, but you know, if Rodgers starts, I think I'd fancy him this week, even though he's been woeful. Kudus or Xavi? Cost of a coin. Lads, I can't speak. What is going on? Toss of a coin. My God, it's early morning. For me, look, it's a big talking point, Xavi Simons and Kudus. And for what it's worth, I think they're both great. They come in at 2 different price points. 6.6, I believe it is for Kudus. 7.1. Another Cup of Chai member from Sleepy. He's finally found the button. Sleepy, do you let us know where you found that button? A lot of people seem to be struggling to find it. Thank you for becoming a Cup of Chai. And do send me on your number for the WhatsApp group, Sleepy. Again, I really, really appreciate it. Again, it's just another way to become a part of the community. And amazing. The support on the stream, lads. 4 cup of choys we're after getting. Means a lot. FPL Chicken says, just got back from the hospital, A&E, all night with my wife. What did I miss? FPL Chicken, sorry to hear, man. Again, I assume it is quite confidential, and I don't expect you to tell me what happened, but I hope she's okay. What did you miss? You missed that we're likely bringing in Phil Foden this game week. Let me quickly move up my chair. By the way, I just noticed that I'm in this box. So no matter how far or forward I go, I'm still outside of the box. What I was going to say is, should I put myself outside the box? Does this look better? Actually, hold on. Like, do you want to see me full screen? Not full screen, but... Would you prefer to see me outside the box? I know this is completely non-FPL related. But, for example... Lads, why is that not working? Oh, I've altered it. So look, I can come outside the box. Would you prefer that, lads? Or do you prefer in the box? Do let me know. Again, complete... Oh, didn't mean to... I was unblocked for a second. Again, small details, lads, but every little helps. No, I think that looks quite poor. Let me bring at least this over a small bit. That looks... Yeah, let me know in chat what you think of that. Let me put it back in the box for now. The box! Anyway, let me get back to your questions. Again, sorry to get sidetracked. I know, little details, lads, but... Choi can't make a mistake at the minute. Foden hat-trick incoming. Wife is fine. Thanks, man. Good to hear. Chicken. Yeah, no, I feel Foden return versus Burnley is imminent. For sure. Thoughts on Nico O'Reilly? Can play 10 positions. I used the link in chat. Thank you for sharing. No worries, Sleepy. Matthew says, start/bench Grealish or Bowen. I would be all over Bowen, Matthew. For me, Grealish has been good, but the goal threat for these type of players is completely different. Bowen is the talisman, of course, for West Ham. Again, what I would do in that case, Matthew, is how do you see the game going? Do you fancy Everton or West Ham? This is how I make my decisions on the tight calls. If you see this being the game where Graham Potter goes and David Moyes puts the nail in the coffin for West Ham, well, then you go Grealish. If you think Bowen is going to give West Ham a lifeline, you'd like to think if Bowen is going to do anything, or if West Ham are going to do anything, it's going to come through Bowen. So that's how I'd make my determining factor. And just another thing, Matthew, is in game week 8 when City play against Everton, he cannot play because he's on loan, of course. So do keep that in mind. Derek, good to see you, my man. Come on, you Spurs, Derek. Great to see you. Jamie says, I'm fairly new. Quick one. Why did you stop content last season so early? Will it be different this season? Jamie, the inconsistency last season came from being in university. I was a final year student in computer science. And for anyone who doesn't know, computer science can be tough, man. First off. And also, when you're in college, your routine isn't there. I've gotten a job now, and I'm in such a good routine, lads, where I can be consistent. So, there you go. Yeah, do press the like button and subscribe, lads. I'm telling you, sooner rather than later, we're going for 10k. Matthew says, I fancy Everton, but Bowen always seems to get a consolation. Absolutely. Everton have been good. And I also, it's hard to look past Everton in this West Ham game. But then again, it's Everton, lads. I think, it's easy to be sidetracked. It's been 5 games. It is easy to be sidetracked so far on the season. Get in the box, Shy. Gotcha. Crisis. Juan Miguel Vasquez, how are we? Always good to see you in chat, my man. He says, for me, it's a difficult one this week. Who's the bench between Tarkovsky, Senesi, Pedro Porro, and Milenkovic? Have a nice day. Aw, thanks. I would easily bench Milenkovic. Rogers Sudoku. I would do Rogers 2 rounders. I prefer that. It sets you up better long term. If you're going for a 2-week punt though, Doku looks good. Should I play Thiago or Gyökeres this game week? Gyökeres. DCL Isidore from my third striker. DCL. Thank you for subscribing. Who's that? Genesi. Appreciate it. Do let me know how many likes are on, by the way, lads. Again, the goal is 200 likes. Let's get there by the end of the stream. Sally, also good to see you in chat. And also, Sally says, Pap Sarr starting or sell to Reinders? I would sell to Reinders anyway, regardless of if Pap Sarr is starting. From what I've heard, he got a knock. It's been quite quiet, actually, with Pap Sarr. Again, he missed midweek. He also missed the game on the weekend. He was on the bench, which is good to know. But Colomwani, the reason he was out was because of a knock. And who did he clash with? Pap Matasar. So I can only imagine that that's where the dead leg for Mwani came from. Again, I could be completely wrong. We have a half an hour until the deadline stream is over. Let's do a quick little scroll on YouTube. On Twitter to see what is going on. So, one of my all-time GOAT managers is Pras. He's locked in. He's gone Salah Mateta to Iliman Ndiaye and Haaland for 2 free transfers. No wildcard and triple captain on the big man. I love that. I love also that he's playing Wirtz over Elliot Anderson. Brilliant. Matthew Doherty says, what is the hype at Reinders? Matthew, it's not necessarily due to Reinders. Necessarily. It's more so a player who's getting 90 minutes in a Pep Guardiola team. We don't quite see that in general. Marmouche is out, so he picks up a more advanced position on the pitch. And for 5.7 for a City asset is really, really hard to look past. For 5.7, that gives you, for example, I don't even know who that gives you. But Kudus is 6.6. Ndiaye is 6.5. Reinders is nearly 1 million less than those guys, and he plays for City. Great option. Are you going triple captain? Says Nikesh. I am. Benito Crossan says, are you going triple captain? Yes. Lads, this white button here means triple captain. How are people so confused if I'm activating triple captain? Lads, I promise you, it's not an illusion. The button is active. I promise. Jason Lacey. United comeback this season. United comeback. United have not gone anywhere. I'm only joking. Yes, United. Interestingly enough, I'm quite high on United this season. No European fixtures, first off. In a season where this is the most European football we've seen for English Premier League sides. And United don't have European football. No Carabao Cup fixtures midweek, lads. I expect United to get top 7. When I say I expect, I think it is likely United get top 7. And I would be surprised if they don't. The signings of Mateus Cunha, Benjamin Sesko, Brian Mbeumo. Great signings for me. Mateus de Ligt, who's been amazing this season so far. Again, he's been around a minute, but I feel like Amaron is going to get this period from now to the international break of Brentford and Sunderland. I think they'll beat Brentford, and I think they'll beat Sunderland. 3 wins on the trot going into the international break. You'll start to see a turn in morale at United. Again, we've seen this before with managers at United. They go through stints. That's not to say Amaron is the man long term for the job, and I'll be interested to see what you think of Amaron long term for any of the United fans in chat. Do you want him gone? The general consensus is yes, but you can only play what's in front of him, lads. And I think Brentford, Sunderland, it would be a good way for him to say, okay, we're in a bad place in the last season, and this season we've got poor results versus Fulham, City, Arsenal. But at the end of the day, lads, if you take it for what it is, they played well. Should have beaten Fulham. Could have easily got a result versus Arsenal. City, okay. I don't think anyone expected anything different other than United fans. Going into these games, I think United can do well. No Chelsea players? Dean Kelly. Dean, it's nothing to do with Chelsea. And if you have Pedro on your team, not to scare you, but Pedro is a fitness concern, I'd be surprised if he gets more than 70 minutes this week. We got a quote come out in a press conference about his minutes and that he is carrying something going into that United game. But his minutes are still there. He goes to Japan or Korea. I don't know which one it is. It's definitely somewhere in Asia in the international break. So, you know, it's a long international break for Pedro, especially if he's carrying something. Hello, Choi, my Asian brother, says Doi. Hello, Doi. He says, would you go in Buemo or in Doi? With a view to bring in Saka for Gakpo next week. Long term, if you're not on Wildcard, I would go in Doi. Iliman in Doi, sorry. Mbuemo's a great option. I have him on my own team. I think he'll bang this game week and next week. But for value in Doi is probably better. Actually, fuck it. Be bold. Go in Mbuemo. Go in Mbuemo. If you have the money, just go in Mbuemo. And if you're not using it elsewhere. Rosaline says, it's insanely impressive you're near the top 100k with triple Villa. Yeah, this is a good talking point. What I'd like to add on to that, though, is I've not owned triple Villa since game week 1. And it's all about timing, lads. If you can get the timing right in FPL, that's what it's about. Game week 1, I've only started with Watkins. Watkins has been shit, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to deny that. In game week 3, I brought in Rodgers. He blanked. So I missed his first 2 blanks. And I also missed his game week 4 blank because I free hit. So I've only had Rodgers for 2 game weeks, so it doesn't look too bad. Last game week, I brought in Matty Cash. Guess what? He fucking scored. So realistically, it's only been Ollie Watkins, and I'm absolutely laughing. Morgan Rogers is going to make away this game week. Sure, he's been a bad move, but it allowed me to bring in Brian Mbuemo, who got a 10-pointer versus Burnley. Oh yeah, Matthew, I would bench Porro for Grealish. Not because I think Porro is not going to start, but because I think that slight chance that Porro won't start. Bro, my gut is telling me, and I have a feeling on Mbuemo. Well, there you go. I don't need to tell you much more. Mazan, good to see you, my boy, in chat. Let's get the stream over 200 likes, lads, if we're not already there. Do let me know how many likes we're on. Someone is saying Potter is sacked. There's no way Potter is sacked before a game. There's no way. No way, lads. There's no fucking way. The thing is, I can't even look up Graham Potter because all the memes will come up. Why are people saying Potter sacked? Because it can't be true. There's no way it's true. When are you wildcarding, shall I? Game week 8. Yeah, where is the Potter stuff? Lads. Graham Potter has been sacked. What is going on? Son Goku. Okay. We get it. What the fuck? Potter sacked before a game. When are they playing? Are they on today? I believe there's like 7 games on today. No, they're the late kickoff on Monday. Okay, that makes more sense. Oh, lads. New manager bounce or start Grealish? Okay. That is interesting. Lads, that kind of changes a few things. There's 2 ways to view this. West Ham are fucked. That's the likely one. Option 2 is like what God Albino is saying. Nuno Espirito Santos comes in and plays park the bus football. Nuno time, absolutely. Lads, what? That is such weird timing, lads. Let me just pull that up on West Ham, just so anyone who's joining. Graham Potter sacked. That is insane, lads. Not okay. Not insane because I think it's a shock or anything. But to do it 3 days before their next fixture, like, why would you not wait?
Love your vids, bro, and with Gianni. Keep up the great work, man. My Japanese missus loves your Irish accent. From a Korean Aussie, winking face emoji.
Thank you, Doy, for the £5 Australian dollars. Very kind words. I do appreciate it. Love your vids and with Yanni. Do let us know. Do you watch us on Scout or do you watch us on elsewhere? I really appreciate it though, Doy. And again, you're too kind. You don't need to be sending me money. I'll always, Doy, I would say if you are enjoying the content and you are going to be here consistently, do become a channel member. But again, really appreciate the support, Doy. It means a lot. Where was I going? Yeah, that is mental, lads. Ryan Johnson, who's always in here, he says, as an Everton midfielder and Gyökeres or Richie and Foden. I don't think it changes too much because, so like I was saying, when a new manager comes in, when the likes of a Potter gets sacked, what I think happens is the manager often plays with caution. And one of the things that I think about when I think about that is, for example, Antonio Conte, first game for Spurs, was a 1-1 draw, I'm fairly sure. Amron's first game, I think it was against Ipswich, 1-1 draw. Who else? There are a few. Jose Mourinho for Spurs. What I'm saying is, no one ever wants to come in first game and lose it. So I imagine whoever it is who's taking place, if it's an interim manager for the time being or it's Nuno Espirito Santos in the next 5 minutes, they're going to tread with caution. So if you have the Everton assets, I wouldn't expect any crazy scores. Again, this could be the other way around and it could be an absolute bloodbath at Goodison in the new stadium. Paqueta star. Graham Potter has left West Ham. Results and performances over the course of the second half of last season and the start of 25-26 have not matched the expectations. The board and directors believe change is necessary. Apologise to any West Ham fans in here, but I am buzzing. This have not matched the expectations. I don't know what West Ham fans are expecting. West Ham suck, man. But yeah, that is mad. Been following Scout for 10 years, so watch on Fantasy Football Scout. Yeah, brilliant, Doy. I do appreciate it. Very kind words also. Okay, let's get back to my own team. That's enough on Graham Potter and the memes. Oh, the memes on Graham Potter, by the way. Phenomenal. Alright, so just to know, 235 of you in here. Hit the like button, lads. Let me know if we've hit the 200 threshold. Secondly, my move is triple captain on Haaland. And I'm going to bring in Phil Foden. The reason I'm waiting is just in case we get any more info. As City are at 3 o'clock kickoff. And out of all the teams, if we're ever going to get a leak, it is going to be City. So it's why I'm holding off so late to bring in Phil Foden for Morgan Rogers. Do get your questions in though. Mafundu, good morning, my man. How are you? Should I just stick with Moyes? Couldn't agree more. JP says he's on Wildcard. He says, already own Bruno. Do you think a 1 week punt on Foden is worth it? And then transfer to bring back Bruno next week. Tough question. That is a really hard question to answer because if Foden bangs this week and you don't own him, it's my fault. I don't like booking in a transfer at the same time though. So I would try find a way to fit both in. Otherwise, I'll probably just go Reinders and Bruno. John says Dorgu or Lacroix. I would go Lacroix this week. By the way, just a note, lads. Ahmed Diallo is out due to family reasons. When I say family reasons, he's after losing a close one in his family. Condolences to him, of course. But it means it probably opens up a space for Dorgu, I want to say. Gahey or Diouf, now that Potter is sacked. I would still go Diouf. What's the verdict on Lewis Dunk? He's grand. He's just grand, though. Alright, let's do a little another little scroll on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. Potter sack, lads. No more face swaps. Brilliant. Oh, that is brilliant. Okay, I don't think we're gonna get anything on the timeline, lads. I'll just scroll just in case. Thank you for those who did spam Graham Potter being sacked though. Noah, another person who's been here quite consistently, says good morning, Shy. Drop one of Brian Mbuemo, João Pedro, Iliman Ndiaye, Semenyo, or Reinders on free hit. Man, that is tough. On free hit, I think it has to be Iliman Ndiaye. But not because... I'm telling you to bench Iliman Ndiaye just before he plays at home to West Ham, who've been one of the worst teams this season, and the manager has just got sacked. But I would prefer Mbuemo versus his old team. João Pedro, Semenyo and Reinders I think are a bit easier. On that note, how don't you have Phil Foden in a free hit team? That's what I would say, Noah. Quite interesting. How about Foden for Gakpo? I think Gakpo starts and gets 75 minutes for me this week. More than happy to start Gakpo. Aaron says, good luck this week, Chai. He says, Saka or Victor Gyökeres? Easy Victor Gyökeres with the penalties. You know, when players like Saka get injured, it takes a while for them to get back to full form. Don't get me wrong, he's playing for an Arsenal team who are going to generate chances, and he's going to be on some set pieces, don't get me wrong. But why not bring in Victor Gyökeres, who is probably around the same minutes but has pens? Bench Gyökeres or Pedro? This game week in particular, I'd bench Gyökeres. Morning Chai, a bit late, says Chess Econ. Hello Chess Econ, good to see you as usual. Monkef says Dorgu Keane -4 and bench Dorgu. I would just play Dorgu. Are you still on triple captain Erling Haaland? I am on the big brown myself, lads. John Ross says thoughts on Holden, Watkins and Rodgers. I have a gut feeling they'll bang next week. If you have an 11 to field this week, John, I would hold on to him for sure. Why are people dropping Kudus? I don't know anyone who's dropping Kudus, personally. I think those on Wildcard are not looking there, though. Start Paqueta or Xavi Simons? Xavi Simons without a shadow of a doubt. Would you take a -4 to put Rodgers to Foden? Yes, I would. -4s are hard to answer. They are hard to answer. Joe, bro, just to confirm, we have 2 triple captains this season. Yes, yes, lads. 2 chips. Lads, it needs to be known, we have 2 of every chip this season. That includes free hit, triple captain, bench boost, wildcard. Start Anderson or Minoz? Daniel Minoz. He might be good for DEFCON this week. 300 people in here watching, lads. Do hit the like button. I know I keep talking about it. And if you aren't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Why not? It's free. Are you doing the transfers now and triple captain, or are you done? I'm doing transfers. I need to wait in case we get more information from any of the City outlets. There is a slight chance we get City information. What a team this is. Wildcard locked in. Love that. Gakpo or Wood? Cody Gakpo. Easily. Apologies if that backfires. FPL Shy, Virgil or Guardiola? Which to go on wildcard? I would go Guardiola. He's cheaper. Better opening fixtures. Always has the goal threat. So for me, I would go with Guardiola. Now, that is a bit closer than it looks because Virgil is great for DEFCON, but they haven't been overly impressive defensively, Liverpool, this season yet. Bro, please, says Licketh. He says King versus Paqueta. Paqueta. I would go Paqueta. Maybe, who knows, that Paqueta gets a bit more freedom now that Potter is gone. Who knows? Jorginho out for Reinders -4. I don't think so, man. I expect Jorginho Rutter to start this week. Sally says, start Goodmanson or Richards? Richards for the DEFCON. Semenyo or Evan Nilsson, says Sharif on free hit. You gotta go Semenyo because of the penalties. And who are the best 3 defenders and goalkeeper this week? Tarkovsky. This singular game week, lads. Tarkovsky, Guardiola, Truffert, Gakpo to Foden or Wood to Isaac. Gakpo, that is tough. Wood to Isaac because Wood has a chance of not playing. But in general, I'll be doing Gakpo to Foden. My gut is leaning towards triple captain Foden. I would never ever tell someone what to do. If my gut was telling me Foden, I would be all over Foden. Cactus Jack doesn't like his team value. Don't like the team value aspect of FPL. Yeah, team value is tough. I like the team value aspect. It keeps us on our feet. And also, I think it is a good dynamic to the game. If we didn't have team value, players like a Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer back in the day would have stayed at 5 million. And if they did, lads, I mean, that's a no-go. Like, you can't be having that. Yeah, my team value is 99.7 at this point. Again, 14.3 on Erling Haaland, though, which is great. Simmons or Kudus? Again, I've spoke quite a lot about this, lads. But for me, it's really close. I don't think there's a right answer. If I was on Wildcard now, I'll be going Simmons. Due to influence. I expect him to have way more influence on a game. Lads, how are people still asking questions about triple captain? The title is Triple Captain Active. You can see my team. I'm joking. I understand. Like, it is definitely, a lot of people do not trust us content creators, but I'm not trying to fool you guys. I am on the triple captain. 10 minutes until the deadline, lads. And I'll be keeping an eye on team news. Let's do another little scroll. See if we can catch anything. Adam says, Choi, you like Foden on Wildcard? On Wildcard, I prefer Reinders. Lads, I can't believe he's been sacked. This is... Poor Potter, man. He's done useless at every club he's gone to since Brighton. Poor fella. Alright, not interesting on the timeline. No love for Doku. It's not necessarily no love for Doku. It's just that Phil Foden provides more goal threat. And Tijani Reinders provides better value. How about both? Adam, if I could get the boat, fucking happy days. I'll be there. Shrewf says, sorry, Choi, I'm on free hit. Choose one of Xavi and Richa. On free hit, I think you can go to Richarlison. No, actually. On free hit, I think this is a game Xavi Simons will get over 80 minutes. Mind you, he won't have the penalties, but this is the type of game where Xavi Simons could do nicely. And I feel there's something in this game for Xavi. Morning, Choi, says Linfard. He says, Verts to Bruno. Mind you, I would start with Verts if I had him this week. Johnson to Semenyo. In a heartbeat, I would do that. Watkins to Richarlison. I won't be doing Watkins to Richarlison. Verts to Bruno and Johnson to Semenyo I really like. Who to start, says ZJ. Gakpo or João Pedro? I would be starting both this week, ZJ, personally, if you could. Robert Zahari, and a former channel member, he says, good morning, Choi. Triple captain, the big man looks great this week. What are your thoughts on Richarlison and Xavi? So for me, Xavi is to be integrated in this team. By the way, my monitor just turned off. I don't know why. Oh. Looks like my internet just went for a second. I hope I'm back, guys. Apologies. But my monitor is currently off, so I can't see the screen in front of me. But anyway, let me get back to your questions. Let's hope we're back. Do let me know if we're back. 7 minutes until the deadline. Sorry, I'm fairly sure I was on a question. ZJ says, you can't... If I had to choose, ZJ, if I had to choose, I would be inclined to start João Pedro. For EO reasons. Sorry, lads. It just cut out because my internet. Gabriel or Caicedo? Anton. Hello, Anton. Gabriel or Caicedo? Caicedo this week. We're back. Alright, good shit, lads. Good shit. Thank you. 300 in here. 7 minutes until the deadline, lads. Please, please, hit the like button. I do encourage it. It looks like my internet just came back. That was so weird. It looks like it just switched. The internet in the weather in Ireland is just useless. That's the issue we're having here, lads. My voice is coming and going. That's not great. Oh no. I hope we're back, lads. That's so annoying. We're having a great stream. You know what? I am going to make this move now. Do let me know if I'm back, lads. I'm going to make this move now before... Imagine my internet goes before I can make the move. I would be raging. Post your team. Oh my man, my monitor. Monitor is not working for me, lads. Let me quickly change monitors. This is not good. Deadline catastrophe happened here. It's glitching. You're back. 2 seconds, lads. I'll quickly change monitors. Oh. Apologies, lads. I'm so sorry. Let me quickly pull back up my team. Can you guys see that? I think we're good. Let me zoom out. Alright, I'm going to make that move of bringing in Phil Foden. I'm going to do it before it's too late. I would hate for my internet to go. I'll be raging. So let me quickly make that move. Again, apologies to you guys. I'm sure you have lots of questions. This might be a laptop bug. Okay. Alright, let's make the move anyway. That's so annoying because we're doing so good. So, one little refresh of the timeline to see if we're getting anything. Phil Foden, Phil Foden, Phil Foden. Nothing on Phil Foden. FPL newsletter. Erling Haaland starts. Okay. Erling Haaland is starting. 5 minutes until the deadline, and it's just Haaland we got. I'm going to wait 1 more minute in case we get anything. Erling Haaland starts, lads. Oh, the big man starts. This is brilliant. Lads, I'm actually licking my lips. 3 o'clock can't come faster. Calm down, bro. You're good. Okay, cool. Alright. Haaland starts. 1 little refresh and then I'm making the move. Confirmed. Imagine I make the move and then it gets confirmed that he's out. By the way, if you're wondering why my video is lagging, it's probably because my camera changed to Wi-Fi rather than input because of the internet going. So I hope it's okay now, lads. But yeah, Haaland does start, and it looks like we're not going to get anything else. So I'm going to make that move. Transfers. Let's quickly run through this. Oh my god, the page is not loading. Lads, what is going on? Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Excuse me. So, Morgan Rogers is going out, and we are bringing in Phil Foden. Let me make sure I'm not doing that. That's stupid. So, 1 free transfer. Make transfer. Confirm. Team is locked in, lads. There it is. So, the suspense is over. We are locked in. We are going with Cody Gakpo and Phil Foden. Morgan Rogers out of the lineup. Again, I think the team looks great. Next week, lads, you're going to want to be here because the team is even better for next week. Triple captain active, and we're locked in with 3 minutes to go. IMO Burnley holds at 1-0. Imagine, Lee Crowley. Imagine. Leon says, morning. Man, lads, I'm sorry. I couldn't get back to your questions. W, good luck. Good luck, says Jovan. Bench Watkins over Mbuemo. Yes, I'll be starting Mbuemo this game week. Saved says, start 2 of Anderson, Gabriel, Gyökeres, Caicedo. I would be starting Gyökeres, Caicedo and Anderson. Graham Potter sacked. Absolutely, Sushant. Alright, let me do a little scroll for anyone who is just waiting. If you're unsure, Erling Haaland does get to start. -4 for Foden, I think. It's a stretch, but if you don't think Roger starts, then I'll be all over it. Alright, lads. Doesn't look like we're going to get too much with the deadline ahead of us. -4 Rogers to Mbuemo. No, I don't think so. Again, that is tight though. Oh no, why is my camera off? I'm okay, I'm back. It's all going wrong, it's chaos. This is at the end of the stream. Where am I? Where's my team? So yeah, into the top 100k, lads. Please, lads, stay tuned. I'm telling you, next game week, I have probably my best lineup of the whole season. So do keep an eye on what I'm doing. I'll be doing a team selection and transfer plans as usual. And tomorrow I'm live on Fancy Football Scout. Set your voice, mate. The voice is set on Bruno. Don't you worry your little heart. Man, my camera keeps freezing. I don't know why. I hope we're back though. This is so weird, lads. I don't know why this keeps happening. No, I don't mind the captaincy on Bruno Fernandes. That's just me though. Okay, we're back again. So anyway, 1 minute until the deadline, lads. Let me quickly screenshot my team in preparation for my Twitter post. And best of luck this game week, lads. Again, phenomenal deadline stream. A lot of people who became a member of this stream. Again, I really appreciate the support. If you are leaving, do hit that like button before you go. It means a lot, lads. It really does. And I hope to see you again. Whether it's the next deadline stream or if it's on one of my videos. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you aren't already. We are on the route to 10k. And let's hope for more green arrows this week. I mean, I'm quite confident going into this game week with my triple captain. Although there are many managers on their wildcard. And also triple captain. So, best of luck this game week. To the 230 that are still here. Best of luck. And as usual, lads, I'll end it early because I don't want to hold you guys for much longer. And as usual, lads, I will see you in the next